I am very happy to be presenting to you all tonight the brand new Trusted Coaches platform. The platform is something that has been in development within the organization for going on a little over a year now. Many of you will know the name Adam Klinkhammer. Adam was a true driving force behind the feature functionality set that is behind this. Many of you also know the name Clarence Fields. Clarence is still with the organization. I'm taking on Clarence's role. Clarence is focusing on the Rising Stars program that we have within the organization and going to be focusing his time here. So I am going to be taking on the process of onboarding and recruiting new customers, and Adam is still here and will be serving in a support role, continuing to serve in a support role. So with that said, my plan for tonight is to introduce y'all to the new platform. We will go through an organizational setup. We will walk through the screens as a coach and setting up a new coach. And once we get done with that, I will open up all the phone lines for any questions that you may have. Also want to let you know that we are recording the session tonight. So it will be available for viewing afterwards, but as you ask your questions, know that it will be recorded and we'll be sharing that as well. So with that said, this is our new website you all see here. The interface is much cleaner, much more straightforward. And when you come to the site, assuming you are logged in, this is our coach right here, Trusted Coach, who has set up his new organization that in many cases will be a picture that you can upload of yourself. In this case, it's a picture of the Trusted Coaches logo. So with that said, I'm going to back out here and I'm going to go to the welcome screen. So it's just trustedcoaches.org/welcome. And this is where, if you're a new client or even an existing client and you want to create an organization, or as a coach, if you want to claim a role, this is the screen that you're going to come to. As in, when you create an organization, it's going to give me a warning here that I have already have an organization. Do I want to go to that organization, or do I want to set up a new organization? This is all that's to setting up a new organization in the system, is starting with these key elements. When I go back to welcome again, the other option that I have is to claim a role. When I go into that claiming a role process, I am going to, for this one, go in and select my state. And I'm going to select my organization. And I'm going to select the season. I have a few different seasons set up here for myself to use as a demo account. And then this is something that you will need when you're creating a new season. You will, as the organization, create the access key that you provide to all your coaches. And we'll come back to that as we set up the organization. So I'm going to go to my account. I got an echo going on here. Hope y'all don't hear that. So this is what your dashboard you're going to see when you log into the system. This is the view of your account. It's going to give you all the information that's relative to you, whether you've set up an organization or whether you're a coach. You may have more or less options here. So I'm going to go to my organization, which has already been set up. And you can see here, I have my organization. I have a payment method that I can put into the system. One of the biggest changes that you will see with the new system is that you no longer need codes or you no longer need to buy codes to log into the system and to take your training. Essentially, as an administrator, you're setting up the training, and all of the training that your coaches take is going to be invoiced on completion versus you having to buy codes in advance for the coaches. Here you can also, another feature is you can actually change who is the administrator for your organization. This is something that we really hope that people take advantage of as they're setting up their accounts. And as we have transition on our boards and whatnot, you're able to add and delete your own administrators. Then the next thing we have on this page is sub-associations. So instead of creating multiple accounts for the Trusted Coaches Athletic Association, I can create sub-accounts or sub-associations within the Trusted Coaches Athletic Association. So everything within my purview as, say, a president of an association can be under one account. And when I go to the baseball account as an example, you can see that there's additional sub-associations. So the organization, it's just another organization within the organization. And so you can create sub-associations with that. So we have different levels that you can set up administrators for each level if that is something that your organization would be interested in. You can set up different payment methods for that sub-association and the sub-associations as well. So I'm going to go back to my organization. So once your organization is set up, essentially everything from this point forward is going to be managed by creating seasons. When you create a season, you're going to go in and you're going to add that new season. And we're going to say fall baseball 2021. We're going to put in a start date of September 1st, end date of October 31st. And this is where we talked about that the information that your coaches are going to need is information that you're creating on your own for them to be able to take the training, is this season access key. And it's an access key that you can create on your own. And we'll show you in a minute here how to send that out to them. So once you create the season, then you're going to go in and create roles for that season. So we're going to start out with this season as creating a head coach role. And let's say we're going to have 20 teams in our fall association or fall season. And we want each head coach to get the Trusted Coaches card. And that's the role is created there. Now with the role, then we can go in and assign that that coach needs a background check. There's 3 different level of background checks. The essential background check is going to cover most of your needs. You're going to want to make sure that that is appropriate for your organization. We have created additional packages with the, excuse me, we have created additional packages for the background check, but we can also customize those if the ones that we have created don't actually work for you.
So, sorry, this is Adam Klinkhammer, part of the Trusted Coaches team. Matt, nice job so far. I just want to provide a little verification as far as why there are now 3 different background checks. The essential background check, the $15 background check, is the one that we've been using for the last 3 or 4 years. It actually works really well for some states. It's the reason that we offer 3 different levels of background check is there are some states, New York being one of those, that they have their criminal database records just kind of on lockdown, and so it's more time and resources for our vendors to procure those records. So any Minnesota organizations, the $15 essential background check should suffice.
Thank you, Adam. All right, so then once we select the background check, here's one of the newest features and one of Adam's greatest features, I think, within this. It's meant to be cost saving across multiple organizations. So if you have a coach that coaches multiple sports within your association, may coach across in other associations, as long as they're using the Trusted Coaches platform, we'll be able to make sure that you're not paying for them to do a background check or take a course that they've already completed within a time that you feel is acceptable. So within Rosemount football, the board that I'm a part of, we complete a background check every 2 years. So I'm going to set that for every 2 years. I personally coach baseball, so if I would do my certification for baseball in the fall, I wouldn't have to do that again for football, assuming my organization is using Trusted Coaches in both baseball and football. Now the same for, as we can select a custom background check, we can select a customized training for the coaches. So this is a head coach, and we're going to do inside out coaching every 2 years, let's say. We're going to do all of our training here. We're going to do first aid every year. We're going to do concussion education every year. And we're going to do child safety training every year. All right, so this would be this coach. This head coach is set up here. Now I can do something. I'm not going to go through a big one here, but I'm going to say for our team manager, the person that's sitting in the dugout and helping the team, we're going to say each team is going to have one of those, and they don't need a card. But we do want them to do child safety training. If they're going to be in the dugout, if they're going to be around the kids, let's have them do the child safety training every year as well. So we're going to do that once a year. And we can set up multiple. So if we have assistant coaches and we have 2 assistant coaches per team, we can set up 40 for that. The big reason that we set this max per role is so you don't have people just going in and taking training and claiming the role and charging against the role. And all of a sudden you have 50 head coaches in your organization, and you should have had different roles instead. So it's kind of a way to kind of manage your season and manage the amount of training that you're allocating to that season.
Yep, nice job again, Matt. Just want another note on the SMART certification. This new model or platform was designed to make sure that all of your coaches' certification dates are always up to date. And so the nice part of it is a lot of admins in the past, it was a lot of guesswork on who needs what. Their dates of completion are all over the place, and they're coming from different organizations. Maybe they were a basketball coach in the fall, and now they're a baseball coach in the spring. And again, the system, as the coaches claim their roles, will look back at their previous dates of completion, compare that with the settings that you created while creating your season, and basically figure out whether they need to recertify or not. So it takes all the guesswork out of the admin's hands. And as long as your season is set up correctly, you basically get to pick and choose on how often your coaches are required to recertify. And any course that's not enabled, so if a coach's certification is still good in the eyes of your settings, they will not have to be required to retake it. And I know Matt mentioned that, but you also won't be required to pay for anything that was not enabled.
So we do have a question on the fly here from Brian. Brian, your question is, does the background check include Little League Child Protection Program? I'm assuming that I'm going to ask you to unmute here, Brian, just to make sure we're answering your question. But I'm assuming that you're referring to the child safety training, the abuse training, when you're asking that question.
Well, this is my first year as our safety officer for Crystal Lake Little League. But one of the changes that I was alerted to was the local leagues are supposed to use background checks that include the U.S. Center for Safe Sport centralized disciplinary database and the Little League International Ineligible list. So do your background checks include that?
Yeah, so Brian, we're gonna have to get back to you on that. I believe so, but I don't want to give you any bad information. So what we can do here is we can go through all of the databases that are included in with our background check vendor, and we can get a 100% answer back to you probably within a day.
Okay, thank you.
So now that we have our season created, we're going to go and activate the coaches for that season. And this is where the point where now that the season's created, we can say, okay, what coaches do I need to invite to do that training? Adam, is this one of the pages that we were having some issues with earlier today?
Yeah, so the system kind of went through a weird update earlier today, but it should be working correctly. At least it was earlier today. So if you want to just maybe even refresh the page and try to re-click activate coaches. Yep.
So are there any other questions up to this point why this page is loading here? Obviously, this isn't something we would expect to happen. So if you want to unmute and ask your question or just post your question up onto the chat, you can do that as well.
Yeah, Matt, if you want to allow me to share my screen, I also have mine up. Yeah, apologies, folks. New technology never comes without its hiccups.
I have two questions, like as of this point. The first one I'm curious about is like the old credits that we have. Is that something that would carry over to this new system? And then the second one is, you said that coaches from other associations, does that mean like if we have a coach that say is in Cambridge and then a coach that's in Minneapolis, are we able to pull any coach just like how the old database was where you could pull them from anywhere in the Trusted Coaches system?
Okay, so Christy, the first question is about the credits. So what we're doing is we're in the process of totaling up all the value of all unused codes for any organization that had unused codes, and we're going to apply that to your organization account in the form of a credit that will show you where that's going to be located, so you can see the exact dollar amount of credit in unused codes that will be established or connected to your organization account. That'll chip away as we go. So if you have $1,000 in credits, every month we went to a monthly billing cycle. So every month, at the end of the month, on the first of every month, the previous month invoice will finalize, and basically it will start chipping away at that credit until it's exhausted and goes down to zero. Your second question, we used to have the Claim a Coach tool, and I know that got a little bit confusing. So basically what's going to happen is all your coaches, whether they be brand new or maybe they're coming from a different association, you just create your season and all your coaches will join your season and claim their role within their season. And then they're automatically connected to your account where you can track and manage the progress.
And we have one more question on the fly here from Jerry. Jerry, yes, you can absolutely set up background checks for those who do not participate on the field. That would just be another role to add either to an active season, or you can create a season that just says board of directors or something to that effect, and create roles within that. So that's your choice on how you want to set that up, but you can absolutely do that. All right, so once we go through the activate coaches and that loads, you're going to have the option to send an email invite from our system, or as with previous iteration, you can view and copy the template. So you can see right here that this is the information that the coach is going to have to search for to set up their new system or new season and complete their training. So I'm just going to do that here. I'm going to copy this over to, I'm going to actually just switch screens here. And we're going to switch from the association over to the coach. So this is my personal account here. And this is my personal dashboard. There's not a lot of nuances in terms of the differences between what you saw with the association and with my account, because I have associations set up within my account, so I'm not just in a coach's role. But now I can go ahead and claim a role season as a coach because I received that email with the information that I needed to take the training. And we're going to go to Minnesota. We're going to select trusted coaches. Athletic Association. Let's make sure we got the right one there. Whoops. And we got fall baseball. And our season access key that we created was TC Fall 2021. And my role is head coach. And now I'm just going to accept that role. All of my security stuff popping up here. Sorry about that. And you can see that I've completed some training already with other organizations, but there's a training that I haven't completed here. That's the Inside Out coaching training. So this is where we feel like, and we have run the numbers and really feel like organizations, as long as their coaches are part of multiple organizations and coach multiple seasons, that there's going to be cost savings from the previous environment that we had and the previous way that we went about billing. Again, because we're not going to repeat training that we don't need to repeat.
And to answer a question before it's been asked, I will tell you that all of your coaching, all of your previous coaches from the previous platform, and all of their dates of certification have transferred. So so when your coaches are logging into their account, if they already have an account or if they're brand new, we made the registration process a little bit easier. And people that use the previous platform, you realize that you had to send a coupon code, get an invite before. Yeah, that was basically their key to be able to register. Well, that's no longer the case. They can just go to Trusted Coaches, they can register or log in, and then they're met with the ability to claim a role within the coach or within your season that Matt just detailed there. And like I said, because of all of the previous dates of completion have transferred, only the courses that they need to recertify will not basically have that green check mark, and they'll be able to recomplete and get an updated date of certification.
Yep. And so this is, you know, very simple in terms of here's the course content, here's the quiz that needs to be taken after completing the course content. Your completion percentage is not going to show complete until you've completed both steps. So you'll need to complete watching the video and complete the quiz before this shows as complete. And in my dashboard, it shows as complete. Like Adam said, this is showing that I've completed everything for the fall season and I'm covered for the fall season. And it is taking those dates that you put in to create the season as part of that equation, saying that I at least have my first aid training is good through the end of the season as we've set it up. So making sure that we set up the season with anticipation of a good season if you have playoffs, and making sure that that goes past that will make sure that you have your coaches trained through the duration of your season. All right, now we're going to go back to the association account. And I'm just going to show the reporting here.
So one note here on the Activate Coaches as well. So you have the copy invite that you can copy and paste it into your own Gmail or your own email account outside the system. The middle option here that Matt brought up is basically the same template. All of the information in brackets in red in the body of the text there will be automatically replaced, so you don't have to touch that. You can add your own greeting if you want to put a deadline on it or any other information, but any of the information that's in brackets in red there, like I said, the system will automatically replace that information. You can add your email addresses, first name and last name individually by clicking the Add Coach button above the subject line. And then we also gave you a link, a CSV link that basically where you can, you'll have your own list of coaches that you can plug in. You can plug in your email address, copy and paste the email address, first name and last name, save the file, upload it so you can send it to 100 coaches at once if you'd like to do that. I'm sorry, the last piece is that we don't have this on the website, but I do know that some organizations take a little bit more of a hands-off approach, and they will take that information that the coaches need, the state, the organization name, the season name, and the season pass key, and they'll put it on their website, basically directing their coaches to go to Trusted Coaches and to register or log in if they already have an account, and then they have all the information. Again, that will be it. We basically wanted to provide you options on how to best fit basically your needs to be able to activate your coaches. You can take the real hands-on approach, or you can just verbally tell them, go to Trusted Coaches, here's our season pass key, select the organization, and they will get what they need.
So now that we've sent the information to the coach has claimed the season. You'll see that I have 5 courses assigned. I've accepted three different seasons here. If you click into the reports, you'll be able to actually filter and customize the coaches piece. But then when you go into the reports, you'll be able to see in a quick snapshot, again, with the ability to filter based on season, filter by complete or incomplete. You'll be able to see just with a snapshot that I haven't completed all the courses that have been assigned to me. I have 4 out of 5 completed. So go ahead, Adam.
I'm sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But a little piece of the functionality that's going to help out, and we built this in for the admins, is that it's always a trick, Trying to wrangling cats when it comes to coaches dragging their feet with their certifications. So from coaches report, you can select filter by season to give you an active roster of coaches, so to speak. And then you can also filter by course status, incomplete. And Matt, if you just want to click the checkbox next to your name, there's an email coaches button that appears. So you can filter out all the coaches that are complete, and then get the ones that are incomplete, send them a reminder message directly from the website here, and get them moving to get their stuff done.
Or those, if you look up all the ones that are complete, you can send them a thank you for doing what we've asked you to do. All right. So that goes through setting up a season, that goes through setting up a coach, that goes through setting up all the different roles, the ways that you can view and see what courses have been completed, what coaches need to be done. And those were the topics that I wanted to cover at this point tonight. Adam's been on a ton of walkthroughs individually with people up till now. So is there other things, Adam, that you would want to proactively answer before we open up for questions?
Yes. So if you could go back to the coaches tab in the blue menu there.
Yep.
Well, again, so all of the dates of completion have been transferred. There are two different views. You can look at summary view or course detail, but Matt, if you want to click the little plus icon next to your name, that will drop down and show you all of the dates of completion for their courses and the seasons that they're connected to. If you want to, Matt, just close that little icon there, and then you click course detail under the next to the summary view. You can see it at a glance. So you'll have all of your coaches listed here, and you can see at a glance, their last dates of completion. The other part that I would like to have you click on is reports. We'll go back to invoices here, Matt, because I know that there was already a question asked about the unused codes and the value of unused codes that we are once again going to be creating a credit. And this is where this credit is going to exist. I'm thinking that we're working with our developers right now to get that pushed through and implemented hopefully by the end of the week. The truth is that none of the invoices or the roll claims that are happening in March will be added formally to an invoice until April 1st. But this is where you'll see your credit. You can see your invoices. They'll be categorized by month. You'll have the ability. So currently right now, because we're still in March, the status is a pending invoice for March. You can see that a line by line when your coaches claim the roles, they'll be listed here. The course or background check that was granted and the associated cost with that training. You'll be able to download the invoice at any time if you want to keep that for your financial records. And then you'll also have, once the March invoice here is finalized on April 1st, there'll be an additional action button on the right side there that will allow you to pay the invoice directly from the website. Again, a lot of organizations did have unused codes, so the credit will be applied to your first couple invoices until you exhaust whatever you have left over in the form of credit. And I think you've covered pretty much everything else there, Matt. So I think we can open this up for questions and Q&A time.
So we do have one question that came in from a phone number, so I can't tell who submitted it, but the question is, if you have sent invites to their email addresses, do they get added to the coach's report, or are they added after they log in and create the account? So they are only going to show up on your coach's report once they have accepted their role. So you're not going to see them on the report until they've claimed the role that they need to do the training for.
Yep. The whole point to that was just to make sure that all coaches follow the same process from season to season. You create a season, they need to go claim the role. If you go to your coaches page or your reports page and you filter by season, your current season, and they're not there, they have not claimed that role. They might be part of your coaching bank, but they haven't added themselves to the role, and also possibly need to recertify on something that they don't have available to them because they didn't claim the role. So it's same process for every coach, every season. Create the season, claim the role, they'll get what they need.
Is there a way
to remove coaches from this coach list?
So
Like,
currently not currently not right now. We are thinking about implementing like an archive function to be able to move your coaches in and out, but that was kind of the whole point of organizing this by season. So every season you're always going to be dealing with your most active, updated roster of coaches. Now, with that said, if there are for any reason, we can always manually remove it. So Jason, if you have somebody that, or a batch of 10 or 20 coaches that are no longer with you, we can go ahead and remove those manually from the internal side of things.
Okay, because in my coaches tab, I'm seeing some old coaches. Like, I'm not sure exactly why, but coaches that I would like to remove from the list. So I can send you an email on the side.
Yeah, Jason, if you wanted to send that list to me at adam@trustedcoaches.org, we can take care of that for you.
Okay, thank you. One more question. So we've already created our organization and we've created the courses that we want each coach to take. We did have a coach over the weekend that claimed his role, and he actually didn't qualify for any of the courses because he had completed them. But he did let me know that he was able to take the football course, even though we haven't assigned that as part of the baseball association. So he didn't complete it all the way 100%. I did check our invoice. I don't think we were charged for it. I just was curious as to why he'd be able to start that football course.
So the football course, I'm assuming that you're referring to the USA Football. Last couple of years, we have offered USA Football, and our system was more of a pass through for USA Football. But just late last week, we actually had a conversation with them. What we're gonna handle that a little bit differently. So USA Football and Trusted Coaches will continue to I guess separate a little bit, but we will. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that USA Football is still reportable. Or so you can track the progress or the completion date for USA Football, but it'll be more on a self-reporting type of basis where the coach will go in, they'll complete the USA Football on USA Football's platform, and then they can come back to their account. If USA Football is part of it, they can enter their completion date and then also their certificate number. So you'll still be able to once again track and manage the completion date. It's just you won't go through Trusted Coaches to do it going forward.
Okay, he mentioned that he saw that there could be a charge of $15 on the baseball account. So I just wanted to make sure that the association wouldn't be charged for that.
Yep.
You know, if there was any coach that actually completed those steps.
Yeah, there won't be any $15 charge. We don't. I don't know if you noticed, but when Matt was setting up the season, USA Football is not a part of the a la carte training that we offer. Right. But it was previously, and since all dates of completion and courses that they had connected to their accounts had transferred from the old platform to the new platform, that's why he's seeing USA Football. But I can confirm that you will not be seeing a $15 charge on your Trusted Coaches invoice for anybody that completes the training on that platform.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And that's another real quick point is that all your coaches, even if if they completed everything in basketball and all of their dates of cert are still good, they still need to claim their role within your season. So you might see coaches that show up in your season that don't show up on the invoice because once again, their dates of certification are still good as you create your season and through the smart certification settings. So you might see that every once in a while, but again, you will only see, and the only charges that will show up on your invoice is for anybody that needed recertification due to your own settings that you created when you created your season.
Any other questions? Going once.
Is there a way to more or less blacklist a coach? Like if you have an issue with them other than criminal or something that comes up on their background check, so you just have, persistent problems with them, somewhere to note it or blacklist them to track them in case the board turns over and they come back, or even have it shared amongst local leagues?
Yeah, we've discussed that in the past. I think that there are some privacy issues when it comes down to blacklisting a coach, so to speak. But you know, we are still continuing to look into that. I will tell you that that basically the process goes is if a coach comes back that's flagged, we always run them through a secondary screening service. And then if it is something that violates our criteria for membership, we will notify both the coach and the organization. So the goal here is transparency and keep everybody in the loop. And the organization will be notified that this coach, Coach X, is under review. They get a chance to they get a five-day calendar period of time of appeal, so they can refute the results of the background check. It doesn't happen very often, but you have to give them that time window to appeal. And then after the expiration of that pre-adverse action period is what it's called, is then we follow up with the organization and the coach again that this coach did not appeal. These were the findings of the background check. And then at the end of the day, the truth is that Trusted Coaches does not make any determinations on whether any of your coaches can continue in that role of coaching. That decision is always left with the organization. So if you want to continue with them as a coach, that's perfectly fine. I will tell you that you do take on a little bit more liability if you decide to do it that way. I know that most organizations basically just pretty much adhere to the guidelines that we have published in our documentation on the website. We show you what we screen for. We also show you what counts as like an automatic denial for a coach and membership. We also have so there's an automatic denial, and then there's a mandatory reporting. And there are sometimes there are things that come back on somebody's background check that don't necessarily outright violate the criteria for membership, but it's something that the organization should probably know about. So in that case, you would get notified. These are the results. The coach, same thing. The coach knows that the organization is getting the results. But with the side note that yes, this coach has passed, but due to convictions on their criminal background check, that these are things that we think that you should know about. So again, it's all about transparency, and then your organization can make the decisions for what they see best.
But I was thinking more like within our own organization. I mean, for instance, I have one coach at a 7 and 8 year old little league game last year, just went after a 13-year-old umpire, calling him every name under the book. Obviously, this guy we don't ever want to be a head coach again. We're kind of okay with him being an assistant coach. Would there be a way that we could block somebody out from being a head coach, so that if the board does turn over, or so that it's at least known to the next people that are in charge?
Yeah, so currently, and that's a really good idea. We're going to continue to enhance this program as we go along, and there may be some functionality that we can build into it. I will tell you that right now, currently, you could, if you were to go to your coaching list, you are able to apply tags to your coaches. And maybe one of those tags is problem coach, or whatever it is. But you can apply the tags to your coaches. Then you can actually filter by those tags. So when there is turnover from leadership, it would just be like, hey, these are problem coaches, or this guy could be an issue on the field. But I really do kind of like that idea, Brian, that some way to apply not a blacklist tag or something that would notify the next incoming round of leadership that these guys are the ones to look out for, basically. But like I said, you can apply a tag for those coaches right now, and then you can also filter by those tags that would return a short list of the problem coaches. And you do that right directly from your admin dashboard. You go to your coach list, and on the far right side there's a little tag icon, and then you click that, and then you apply the tag to whoever you need to.
Okay, yeah, something like that would work, even with just the tags.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Matt's about to take back over here. I just want to let everybody know, thank you for coming to the meeting tonight. We can continue to answer questions if they come up. I will say that I've made myself available to many different organizations for a detailed walkthrough. Obviously, you're not going to see much more than what we just covered tonight, but we're more than willing to sit down. I have the ability to jump into your account remotely from my office, so we can be looking at the same page. And if I'm more than willing to make myself and the rest of the team available for that walkthrough and to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, so with that said, I mean, if you do have any questions at all, I pulled up the website, the public website, that if you go to the contact tab, which is one of the main tabs on the top of the page, my information as well as Adam's information are right there for you to call. Don't hesitate to call or send us an email. Adam definitely is ready to support in any way, shape, or form that he can. And, both of us are willing to make sure that this process, although we think it intuitive and we think that people will pick up on it pretty quick, it is new, and anything new is going to, cause some strife. And we're here to make sure that we limit that as much as we can. So if there's not any other questions, I really just want to echo what Adam said and thank you all for showing up. And this will be put out on YouTube and available for you to share with other members of your organization. We have some additional walkthroughs out there already too, if they don't want to sit through the presentation version.
Last chance to answer any questions here. Like I said, you can call our my office website support. If you have any of your coaches are having any issues, you can reach out to me first. So, like I said, this is last chance to answer any questions here. Other than that, we really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us tonight.
And Dawson, I saw you unmuted. Do you want to give some parting words here?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to the leaders that are on this call, the admins, and their organizations for their time and dedication to youth sports and for your continued support. We're excited about the new platform, and this is truly TC 2.0, and I think you'll be truly excited about it once you get into it more. No more coupon codes or anything like that. Wondering if somebody got an email, so it'll be pretty slick for everybody involved.